ahead and record this. All right, so we should be live, gentlemen, and this should be recording. So if we have any technical difficulties at all, I apologize in advance. But I got myself, Sam Abbott, I got Lloyd Parker and Sean Walters. Lloyd is my partner in Savage Race. Sean is race director. We got our first event of the year, boys. Savage Race, Illinois, this weekend. And obviously we've had to postpone a lot of events this year to make this our first event of the year, but we're excited to get this one done. We have, to get it done, we had to jump through all kinds of hoops. We had to put together a robust safety plan, which is very important. And that's going to mean there's some changes and some new things to keep in mind for this event. So I'm going to just start going through, and guys, if you can kind of keep an eye on the questions and comments in the live feed, we'll keep some time open for Q&A in the end. But we did already have some pre-selected questions that came in, and so we're gonna address those along the way. So first of all, I want to welcome and thank everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for supporting us. I mean, the outpouring of support from all our Savage community has been such an amazing thing this year. And we can't wait to do this first event. So one thing that I want to, let me silence this here. One thing that I want to make sure that people understand, like the three biggest components of this event this weekend, that the three biggest safety components are that we've implemented measures that are going to control the number of people that enter. So we're only letting in 300 people into the event site per hour. We are requiring masks everywhere within the event, with the exception of while you are actively participating in the race. So out on the course, the masks won't be required. You can wear one if you want, but we're not requiring that. But anywhere else on the property, once you're inside the sort of event area, we're going to be requiring masks. And then we're going to have hand sanitizers everywhere. So you're going to have the opportunity, anything you touch, there's obstacles you have to touch. There's, there might be various other interaction points. Always going to have the ability to clean your hands immediately after. So those are the three biggest things. Moving on, so let's go into a little more detail on some of that stuff. So limiting entry to 300 people per hour. So this is something that's new for Savage Race. In the past, we've been rather lenient on wave times and things like that. We typically see more people showing up earlier in the day. And so unfortunately, we're going to have to limit that. So we're going to be enforcing wave times more. We're actually not going to be letting people into the screening area of the event and to check into the event at all within 30 minutes of your assigned wave time. Now, if you need to go a little bit later than that, that could be okay. But we're really going to be watching those times. So that's a big change. And so the way we're going to do that is, and this is very important, make sure that when you show up on site, you have evidence of your wave time. And the way you do that, we're going to actually send you an email later this week that's going to have your wave assignment. And you already have the access to the bib assignment, so you could take a screenshot of that and show us. But the key here is that when you're walking up to the event, you're going to have your phone. And if you don't want to bring your phone, that's okay. Just bring a printout. Have something that you can show. We're going to have screeners out front. Please don't make us have to look you up, because that's going to add a lot more time. If you can just come and have that thing ready, look it up when you're in your car, make a screenshot or print it out before you get there. But just so that we can look right away, see, okay, we know your time, come on in. Okay, so that's critical. Please do that. In addition to that, here's the things you need to have when you come up to check-in. Okay, so you need to have that proof of wave time that I just discussed. You always have to have your ID, so make sure you have that and have a completed waiver. We will have waivers there if you forget one. It's not the end of the world, but again, it's going to be less touch points and a lot faster if you just print that thing at home and bring it with you. So we'd really appreciate it if you could do that. And of course, that waiver is in the information email that we've already emailed to you. If you don't have that, it's posted on the event page for this event. If you still can't find it, just email us, we'll send it to you. Okay, so I'm jumping around a little bit here, but going back to how we're going to be limiting the people in contact with each other and social distancing. So one way we're going to do it, as I mentioned, we're not going to let you in until it's right before your wave time. But then if you've done a Savage race before, you know that in the past, and what we've normally done, sometimes we'll let 400 people go at once every 20 minutes. Well, we can't do that. So what we're going to do is instead, every 5 minutes, we're going to be letting about 25 people go. And so that's a lot different from how we've done it in the past. But that's really what we need to do. That was one of the only ways we could get this event off the ground, was by separating people. So it's not going to be the usual start line scenario. I mean, obviously, like the link in arms and everyone pushing together and doing crowd surfing, like we're not going to be able to do that this time. So we're going to be socially distanced in the start corral, and we're going to do 25 people every 5 minutes. Just kind of give you an idea of how that's going to go. And Lloyd and Sean, if I miss anything on this, feel free to jump in. But we're still going to try to keep teams together. So if you do get assigned a different time from your team, just have evidence of what team you're on. Bring that to our attention. That's going to be something you can show the screener. All right, let's move on to what's it going to be like besides proving what time your wave is. We're going to have a COVID screen. So we're going to be checking you for COVID symptoms, and we're going to be taking your temperature with a contactless reader, scan your forehead. And so here's the deal, like don't show up to the event if you have symptoms. If you think you have coronavirus, obviously don't show up to the event. In that scenario, just contact us and we'll move you to a future event. Like, no questions asked. We're not charging transfer fees for that. So you can do that. But for everyone's safety, one of the things we're doing is we have this COVID screen. So this is something you won't have seen before. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to show your wave time. And we're going to say, okay, great. You're running in 30 minutes. Come on in. So then you walk in, and we're going to have our medics are going to be up front. And this takes about 30, 40 seconds. They're going to scan your temperature. As long as it's under 100.4, then they move on to asking you a series of questions. Have you come into contact with anyone with coronavirus? Have you traveled to a foreign country? There's a variety of questions. If you think that you're going to, these questions are all on the CDC's website. If you think there's a chance you're going to fail the test, make sure you're familiar with those questions in advance. And that way you don't have to drive all the way out. Because, for example, if you have a runny nose, there's no way for us to know if you have allergies or if you have coronavirus. So that's going to be something that's going to exclude you. So just think about that before you make the trip, if you are displaying symptoms of coronavirus. And if anyone does fail that test, we will transfer you to a future event. Talked about waivers. Definitely print and bring your own. That would be very much appreciated. Okay, masks. So in the check-in area, anywhere, bag check, anywhere you're coming in contact with our staff or could potentially be around other people, you got to wear a mask. This isn't negotiable. This was a condition of us getting approval for this event. We're required to enforce it. So wear a mask inside. Not on the course, you don't have to, but everywhere else. And so the way that's going to work is that first of all, there's not going to be a whole lot of people in like what we've called the festival area before, but anytime you're in any of these kind of common areas prior to the race, you need to be wearing it. The only exception is if you're actively eating or drinking. We're still going to be doing the free beer for people over 21 at the end of the race. So obviously you can't drink through a mask, or if you can, that'd be pretty cool, but you can't. So if you're actively drinking or doing that, it's okay, but just use common sense, kind of stay away from other people when you're doing that. We will have some masks available for people who forgot them. So if you show up and you didn't bring one, we'll give you one, but the quantities on those will be somewhat limited. I mean, we'll have enough for everyone who needs one, but we would really appreciate it if you could just bring your own masks and deal with those yourself to kind of help us out throughout the day. But if you did forget it, there will be a table near the front of the event, and there will be one near the finish line, because after you finish the race, we're going to want you to put one back on. But what I'd really like you to do is, if you can, just bring on, there's a couple different ways that you can carry it on the course. One example is, a small disposable medical mask folds up really easily in a Ziploc bag. Sometimes people carry small backpacks. You can do that, or you can just put it in your pocket. I mean, it would be things tiny. So you can do that. What I did, I ran in another race recently, and that was requiring masks. And what I did was I wore a buff around my neck. So when I was on the course, I didn't want it over my face. It was just around my neck, and then it was easy to pull up and down. So you can bring one of those. But keep in mind, it will get wet. So that's kind of at your own discretion. Okay, where are we at? So some other things will be different. This is going to be a cashless event, but we are gearing up to take credit cards everywhere. So I know in the past, like at Savage Race, we've encouraged people to pay for parking with cash, but it's going to be the other way around this time. We're going to want you to, actually, we're not going to take cash at all. We're going to have a bunch of people with iPads, and we're going to be able to swipe you for cash, for a credit card transaction there. However, what would be even better is if you went onto our website and prepaid for your parking. Then you're just going to be on a list. It's going to speed things up. You're going to get through a lot faster. So, and that goes for a few items. So we put a few different things up online for prepayments to speed things along and to reduce the number of contacts that you would have to have with our staff. And we can post the links down into this video after it's done, but it's definitely going to get emailed out to you if it hasn't already. But the things that would be really great if you could prepay for would be the parking fees. So of course there's a $10 general admission, and then we have a $20 VIP parking that will get you closer up to the front. All this stuff can be prepaid. If you think you're going to need bag check, as always, that's $5. We're still doing bag check, but it helps if you prepay it. You can go right on our website and prepay for that stuff through Square. And had a bunch of questions. People are asking, are we still doing future vouchers? So we are. So if you haven't been to a Savage Race event or you don't know what this is, basically we have an on-site opportunity to get the best possible price for a future ticket. And you don't even have to decide right then and there which event it's for. Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's $79. They start at $79. Then if you want Pro, the price goes up from there. But it's the best. It is absolutely, without a doubt, the best price you can get for Savage Race tickets.
So it's $87 for a future Savage Race, $77 for a future Blitz. If you want Pro, just add $30 to either of those, and you'll pick those up along with your shirt that you would receive from the Syndicate 10.
Yeah. So it's a package deal. It comes with a shirt. I think a decal and a wristband, maybe, Sean. Is that right?
I believe so. Definitely a wristband.
It comes with some goodies. Even without, it's a great deal even without that. But you also get an extra shirt and some other things. And yeah, so we're doing that. You can even prepay for that if you want. And in that scenario, all you have to do is just go up to the tent, show your receipt, and we'll also have a record of it, so you can just show your ID, and we can give you your voucher. One thing you need to know, though, that you can't prepay for it and then use it that day. This would be for a future event.
And Sean put the link up in the comments on Facebook too, where you can directly get to that.
Okay. All right, cool. So I think it would be a good idea to have it prepaid. That's going to be in the tent. Alex Brown, who's our staff member who's normally in there, will be in there this event too. Just be ready to have, like everything else, have a screenshot ready to show us that you've paid for this, and we can look you up. Okay. You actually can show up on race day and purchase a ticket, but we're really encouraging people to register ahead of time. We'd much prefer that.
And it'll be more expensive on race day than it is right now.
Yeah, you'll spend more money if you just show up without a ticket. So sign up on the website. For this event, and we're unsure how this is going to go, as things develop even further with coronavirus. But for now, we're not allowing spectators into the event unless they are accompanying a participating minor. And what that means is that would be someone 13, between the ages of 13 and 17, who's actually running in the adult race. So that would be the only scenario where a spectator could attend. Otherwise, you need to be signed up as a racer. Adding on to that, we're not doing Savage Junior at this event. We're not sure if we're going to have that back at some events later this year, but for now, there's no Savage Junior at the Illinois event. A couple other things. A good skill to have going into this weekend is learning how to read QR codes. So a lot of things that you might need to access, like your results, or if you need to look up your bib time on site, or even pay for some things, you're accessing them through QR. And this is something that I think we all learned recently, is that if you have an iPhone or an Android, all you have to do is open the Photos app and just point it at a QR code. Like, you don't have to have a special app or anything to download it. All you need is just point the Photos app, and then it'll take you to the link.
And just to make sure that we're clear, not the Photos app, the camera app. You would, just like you'd take a picture.
Sorry, yeah, the app you would use to take a photo with your phone. So I have an iPhone. I just open the camera, point it at the QR code, and boom, it takes you to the website. So that's pretty cool. And we're gonna have, the reason we're using QR codes is because we're gonna have, like, for example, we used our results kiosk used to be iPads you had to touch. We thought, well, let's not have something that like everyone has to touch the same thing. Let's just make it where you can just scan it with your phone and find your results that way. And that way, you know, the phone's way more of a personal item. So that's safer. So do that. A couple things on obstacles. I'm kind of getting into some of the questions that people submitted earlier this week. So on the obstacles, there will be some water obstacles. I can't remember if we're doing 3 or 4, but we're going to have Colossus. We're going to have Sawtooth. What else?
Colossus, Sawtooth, Wheel World, and I believe Rig Over Water.
Rock and roll. So that's awesome. That was one of the things I was a little bit worried about with this, with coronavirus, was what the experience would be like without water obstacles. But, you know, when we looked into it, we consulted with our medical director, and there's really nothing that shows that coronavirus spreads through the water, especially if it's chlorinated. So we're going to be chlorinating the water in those obstacles. And so we got 4 of our best water obstacles for you guys this weekend. I know there's going to be more questions about the pro rules and how we're doing the pro wave. So I'm not going to get into that too much in this video, but we are going to have, I think tomorrow night, we're going to have another video. So that'll be separate. And since that doesn't pertain to so many of you, I just didn't want to get into it too much in this one. Savage Syndicate. So if you're qualifying for a syndicate, which I guess the only way you would be able to qualify for that at this event is if you run 2 laps. We're gonna have
Savage Anywhere.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Yeah, so I guess a lot more people than I was thinking could qualify. If you did Savage Anywhere, or if you did 2 laps at this event, just go to the Savage Syndicate tent. Alex will be able to help you redeem that, the awesome Savage Syndicate medal. And so that's a good segue into people who are doing multiple laps. So another way to get your Savage Syndicate, or if you're just crazy, you know, run 2 laps in a day, run 2 laps or more. So people who have 2 or more paid laps will earn their syndicate. And those people should have all received an earlier first start time. And if you didn't, contact us, because we definitely need to make sure you have enough time to finish the race. But you should have received an earlier first start time. So just the idea there is just run back-to-back waves. If you need to take a short break in between, that's okay. But you know, we're trying not to have people like hanging around sort of the common areas for too long, just because we need to keep the crowd numbers down. But the idea is finish your first race, you know, take a short rest, drink of water, and just roll right into your next wave. Or you don't even have to take a rest if you don't want to. Someone asked a question about water stations and how we're handling that. You know, it's funny, we actually had figured out a solution to get away from sealed plastic water bottles this year because of some environmental concerns. But with what's going on right now, we just didn't want to have, we just felt like it'd be safer and less confusion if we just everyone got individual sealed plastic water bottles. So that's how we're doing it, this event. And you know, after coronavirus, maybe we can get it back away from that. But what we ask is especially since they're sealed, please just don't make a huge mess on the course. Try to make sure that all the water bottles get into our recycle containers. Don't leave the caps on the ground. Just please be courteous, because remember, someone's got to clean up the site after you leave. And then, you know, food and beverage, we're going to have beer for sale. We're going to have the free beer. We're going to have water bottles. We're really not going to have, Sean, right? We're not doing food, right? So there's not going to be
Any food vendors.
Are we letting people bring food in, or do we prefer them just to, I mean, if you want to bring in some snacks, sandwich, like what we don't want though is like, we don't want you setting up a huge picnic. We're not letting tents and chairs in.
And we won't have tables and chairs in the festival area.
Yeah, so it's not going to be like the normal like kind of hangout zone that it's been. But
there will be kind bars, so I mean, you know, grab a couple of those. It'll hold you over till you make it to McDonald's on the way home.
Yeah, so McDonald's. Yeah, so some of our sponsors, like we got Kind, we got Zevia, Up For, Salming, Sacred CBD. They will be there. Many of them will have samples. So, you know, definitely take part in that, enjoy that, go see them. But we're not going to have like, you know, the food trucks that you're used to. If you want to bring a sandwich, a snack, you know, something like that, that's cool. But just we're not looking for like the huge picnic setup. Likewise, no team tents, no chairs. That stuff won't be allowed in, so don't bother with that.
Quick note, I know this, you know, won't apply to most people, but for the award ceremony, just like Sam said, we're kind of limiting these, you know, gatherings of groups. So you can use that QR code to scan for your results, and you'll see them live. They'll update live. Once your age group is full, you can go, once the top 3 has been named, you can go pick up your age group award or overall award from the Syndicate tent.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just kind of looking at the questions. So Lisa Johnson was asking something about how do you do both Savage and Blitz on the same day? I think we kind of addressed that, right? One thing to note on that though is that the Blitz course actually won't be open until what time? 10? So
10.
So
First Blitz wave will be at 10. We're asking anybody that's doing a race and a Blitz to do a race first.
yeah, do your race first. That's gonna help us out. So do your race first, and then the Blitz second. And then Lisa's also asking, saying she hasn't received her wave time. We'll respond to you on that, Lisa. But then also
She's probably signed up after the first data pool. She'll get something in the next couple of days.
yeah, you'll get an update. Also the information gets updated on our website as time goes on. So there should be, the latest info should be on the website already. I don't think, doesn't look like we really have a whole bunch of, maybe I'm missing them. Do you guys see any other questions on here?
Nah, there were only a handful before. I think we kind of answered those. Just responding to them.
Okay. Well, guys, I think we'll leave it up for just a few more minutes, but and definitely post the questions. If you have any other questions or something that's like specific to your situation, you can always contact us, support@savagerace.com, or the contact tab on our website. And again, we're going to be posting another video tomorrow for the pros. And the last thing, I just want to reiterate, the things you need to have when you're walking up to the gate is your evidence of what time you're running. Don't walk up early, or you're just going to get sent back to your car. So evidence of what time you're running, your ID in hand, and your waiver. Those 3 things have with you ready to show. That's going to help things move along. You don't want to be the guy or the girl at the airport who gets there and like the TSA person asks to see your thing, and you're like trying to find it, right? Like while everyone's waiting, like have it ready. Be a first-class Savage Race citizen. Sean, you're on mute, buddy, if you're trying to say something.
Sorry about that. You also might want to hold off on doing your, pre-race laps in the parking lot before you get to that COVID check. Dropping your temperature.
Oh, that's a good point. So our medical director told us that one thing that can happen is if you're out in the parking lot doing warm-ups or exercising, I mean, I don't know how many of you are doing this, but I know it does happen sometimes. That can actually elevate your body temperature, and it could cause you to potentially fail the COVID screening. Now, if that happens, and if you think if that happens to you and you really think you're not sick, we'll let you take a few minutes and we'll check you again. But it's better if you just pass the test the first time. So save your warm-ups if you can for once you're inside, because I would hate for you to not get in just because you were warming up in the parking lot. Good point, Sean. Looks like Alex in our company Slack might have something. Okay, I think he's saying that anyone who signed up for 2 or more laps should have been assigned a start time between 9 and 10:30 a.m. So if you signed up for more laps than that and your start time is after 9 and 10:30 a.m., then contact us. The other thing the other point to make is that once you've run your first lap, you just do your second lap after that. You don't have to look for an assigned time after that. You're gonna fit into the next wave that has space in it after you've completed. All right. Are we good to go? Any other questions? I don't think so. I think maybe this is a good point to wrap it up. So Lloyd, Sean, thanks for joining and helping out. And for everyone who watched, we appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in Illinois this weekend.
See you guys Saturday.
See you guys.
Bye.